Oh my God, it's happening. Jim Schwartz making adjustments with the secondary. More two deep safeties. Cornerbacks creeping a little closer to the line of scrimmage. More press technique. Brennan Albert is here. I am Adrian Fenke. We're going to get into some of those adjustments in this show. Press man coverage.
It's such a perfect week to do it, right? I mean, it's a short week for an offense to get ready for you. And it's versus what, Adrian, maybe bottom 5 worst quarterbacks in the NFL right now. So, isn't this exactly what you'd want to kind of get your guys in game speed ready for when you ready start playing better teams? Because I think we both know, Adrian, Eli Manning's best days are far behind him.
Oh, yeah. That's for sure. And the thing we're going to get into this show, we're going to really dissect the press man coverage and get into how it's going to benefit the Eagles, what you can do to beat it, what actually makes a good press, because it actually starts with the feet. It's not your hand, what you might think. We'll get into that temporarily. Actually, we'll get into it right now because we're going to start with the first play. Ronald Darby, little press on Sterling Shepard. This was inside the red zone. It is easier to press inside the red zone. We'll get into that too. But I just love seeing this from Schwartz. A little bit more of this. He's not doing this every play. They're still playing off. They're mixing it in. But this is a positive sign, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to do this type of stuff just to keep them off balance. If nothing else, just to change up the timing for a quarterback and receiver, right? Because a free release is a lot quicker, obviously, in your timing than having to get off a press. So if nothing else, you want to speed these things up because you want to mess up their timing in the red zone, Adrian. That's a perfect time to do it.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask you right now what makes a good press, and then we're going to look at the Ronald Darby play here and discuss whether or not we think it was a good press by him.
Yeah, good press comes from guys who are very similar like basketball slide. It all comes with your feet and with your hips. Can you stay low and move laterally without having to use your hands? Most people think, you want to run your hands, you want to get in and be physical, and that's all well and true. But here's the problem, what a lot of people don't realize. Think about boxing, right? Whenever a boxer throws a punch, what's he do? He throws his foot too because all the power comes with it, right? It's the same type of idea we have with our press. The only difference is if I throw my hand and I don't move my foot, now I'm lunging, I'm not in a balanced position, and if I throw my hand and that receiver's any good and is able to get off my press, my feet are behind me, and now I'm already losing the battle. So it all starts with the feet. I kind of think about it like this when I teach defensive backs. I say, look, you actually press with your feet. Your backup plan is your hands. If you're really good, you should be able to mirror and actually do press coverage with just your feet without your hands being needed.
Yeah, and especially some of these receivers in the league, they're so quick with that release, the way that they can jitter off the line, having the foot speed, it's imperative.
No doubt. And then obviously you bring it into the red zones I talked about. It messes up the timing of the quarterback. It gives your defensive line an extra split second to get into a pass rush situation. Yep. And also you're not fearing a 40-yard completion in the red zone. So if a guy does get off your press, in some senses that receiver has to slow down a little bit because if he gets out too quick, now his timing is ahead of where the quarterback could be. And now it messes the timing up a little bit too. So you can be a little more aggressive here in the red zone.
Yeah. All right, let's get into this play here. Let's talk about it. Ronald Darby shut down Sterling Shepard. Now, this was not a crisp effort by Shepard's part, but pretty solid press by Darby.
Yeah, pretty solid press. And I'll say this first. Sterling Shepard gives piss poor effort. I mean, I will first –
the entire Giants team, piss poor effort.
Well, it's a reflection of quarterback, right? I mean, but it is what it is. So, look, when we look at this here, okay, Darby's top of the screen. For those of you guys who didn't know, okay, he's against Sterling Shepard. A little quick guy, all right?
Yeah.
What we're going to see here is we're going to do really nice to keeping our feet active all the way through and then riding with them, right? One thing we don't really appreciate it is Darby doesn't move his feet till he has to. There's no reason for him to pedal. There's no reason for him to move. Shepard makes the move. He makes Shepard move him. So as you'll watch here, guys, Darby's patient slide, get my hands on him. Okay, now I'm riding with you, and it's all within that 5-yard window. A great thing that he does here is as soon as Shepard starts to get into his body, okay, now my hands are on you. And because you brought the contact to me, no pass interference, no holding, you brought it, you initiated it with me, and I'm just fighting power with power now.
You know what we could also look at, though, on this play? Look at Sidney Jones in the slot on Odell Beckham.
Yeah.
So let's check this out. So he kind of like fakes like he's off, then he creeps up on the line. He fakes like he's inside shade, then he kind of goes on him. And he tries a crossing route, and there's nowhere for him to go. I think that's Beckham.
Yeah, it is. It's very similar. It's very similar to Darby here, right? In that, look at his footwork, excuse me.
Yeah, it's all about the feet.
His feet aren't moving until he has to. Okay, I'm waiting for you. It's read and react. So I read you're coming inside. Okay, now I'm going to ride inside, and I'm going to get you inside that 5-yard window and force you into a really crappy throwing window for Eli.
Another question I wanted to ask you, you kind of brought it up already. So this kind of helps out your pass rush because it disrupts the timing between the quarterback and the wide receiver, gives the defensive line that extra split second to get to the quarterback. Could that be part of the thought process, you think, to help out the pass rush a little bit more?
No doubt about it. I mean, on defense, everything is connected, right? I mean, there's no doubt about that, Adrian. That definitely helps.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We're going to get into a next play here. And, again, it's Ronald Darby. And he did a fantastic job on Odell Beckham. So Beckham's stats at the end of the day, I think it was like 6 receptions for 44 yards. But in terms of what Darby allowed, I forget what the number was at the top of my head, but it was minuscule. He basically shut him down. He did nothing on Darby.
No, he really didn't. And you know what? Think about how crazy this is, Adrian. A handful of years ago, you would never see the Eagles playing one-on-one coverage with Odell Beckham.
Yeah.
Right? And now you got several guys. So now we got Darby here at the top of the screen. We're going to be deep thirds, middle thirds coverage, which again means there's no help out here. There's no help out here. So essentially, and you'll see this a ton of times, a lot of offenses, they'll go trips, they'll go doubles, etc., towards the wide side of the field just to try to get that safety to come over and know, okay, I have more field here, more receivers here. I have to play over here a little bit more. But really this offense is trying to go one-on-one backside. That's usually what you do. The Lions would do this forever with Megatron. And that's what the Giants are trying here too, is just trying to find ways to get Odell one-on-one. And you're going to see here, we're going to open up, and we're going to play a little bit of a bracket coverage.
Yep.
And it's just awesome job there by Darby, sinking underneath everything and saying, hey, I'm going to get in the passing window of the whole shot.
Let's take a little end zone angle just real quick because I just want to see Derek Barnett's pass rush. It's sexy. Sexy little pass rush.
Great move, man.
Oh, there he is. That was a nice run.
Developing. He's looking like a first-round pick.
Yeah, just slapping the hands away. All right. So next thing we're going to look at, this is the Avonte Maddox play. So we had an injury. Sidney Jones left with a hamstring, and they put Rasul Douglas in the single high safety role, and Avonte Maddox slid down to play into the slot. One of the things that I saw at Pittsburgh and we talked about, he gets beat off the line, and he gets beat off the line inside, and he gets beat pretty badly. This happened on the game-winning touchdown against Corey Davis. It happens again right here at the 8:42 mark of the third quarter.
You know, and this is one of those plays, Adrian, that it depends if your glass is half full, glass is half empty kind of person. If my glass is half full, I'm going to say, look, his issues are he plays tall, he's going to be late with his hands, he's not really going to reroute the receiver like he easily could have here. That's all fixable things. Not a big deal. That's the glass is half full. If my glass is half broken or if my glass is half empty, I'm thinking to myself, you're in the NFL, son. I shouldn't have to fix these things. These things are high school level stuff. You never let a receiver get a free release if you can avoid it. No. So we're going to see him one-on-one here. First off, way too tall, right? Look here. Look how tall our shoulders are. Versus here, we're sunk in a better position.
Even Darby at the top of the screen. Yeah. You're right.
Big difference. It's going to say, hey, I don't have the change of direction ability in at least this situation as this receiver is going to because I'm so tall. The second thing we're going to see here is look where his hands are. Our hands are pointing straight down. We want our hands closer to our chest here so that way you can at least reroute that receiver. Reroute means when that receiver engages from that first 5 yards, I can get my hands on him. And even if he wants to inside release and I can't stop it, maybe I can force him inside a little bit more to help with my linebacker or vice versa. Just doing something to mess up that timing. And we don't see either of that here, and that becomes an easy pitch and catch.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really easy. I think that's Beckham again. So, it's hard to like shit on Maddox on this play. But it's some of this, it's the same stuff from college. That's why I brought it up.
100% right, Adrian. And we never want to give a quarterback the easiest throw, especially when it's a quarterback that's struggling and a really good receiver who can go yak ability and take this to house. You can't give away the slant this easy, man. You got to get your hands up. I mean, look, our right hip is off because we're so tall again pre-snap. We don't have that change direction ability, and it's pitch and catch. Easy way to move the chains.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so the coaching staff seems to be very high on Avonte Maddox. They talk very highly of him. There's definitely stuff to work with there. It just goes back, again, to what we were saying. He's raw. And him playing in the first year, he's going to get beat. There's going to be growing pains like this.
Yeah, I mean, Adrian, he was what, a 5th-round pick? Am I remembering right?
Maybe a 4th, if I remember correctly.
He was a day 3 guy. I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that. So, I mean, look, you get day 3 guys because they're still working. They're still a work in progress. So, you know, I hear that. I will always say this too. When it comes to coaches' criticism, there's 2 positions that I think just mentally need to be patted on the back and get more of a carrot than a stick. Quarterback and defensive back, because I want my defensive back out there when that ball's in the air. I want him feeling all the confidence in the world that he's going to make this play. Not when that ball's in the air, he's thinking, oh shit, if I don't make this play, coach is going to be on me. So I want my coaches to be really pat on the back with my defensive backs, to have a lot of confidence in them. That's why you see these corners with such big egos. They talk trash, not necessarily to put down the receiver, but to build themselves up.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about building himself up and somebody who likes to wag the finger and talk, Jalen Mills. So I actually thought he actually had a pretty good game on Thursday. He did allow a double move. You know, that is the tradition with him. He's going to get beat on occasion. It just happens. But something that he is doing this year that is being overlooked, his coverage in the red zone has been pretty damn good. And nobody's talking about it. So what we're going to do is talk about it.
Look, the Patriots have many Super Bowl rings, and it's not because they're a lights-out defense. It's because they're a bend, don't break. And Jalen Mills, it does a lot of that, right?
Yeah.
Again, we're going to see this here. Okay, pre-snap. Let's think about this, guys. I have 3 receivers and a running back who's already got 40-plus receptions on the year, if I remember correctly, all right? These 4 guys are not all going to the same spot. They're not all going here. They're not all going there. They're not all going here. They're going to mix, right? So what's that mean? I have to be on different levels. We can see here corners in a little tight. Our slot corner's in tight. We're off a little deep. Safety's a little deeper. Perfect. Why does that matter, Brendan? Because inevitably when these guys cross, which will happen 99.9999% of the time, these 3 plus the back is going to do some type of cross pattern. If we're all on the same level, we're all going to run into each other. That's why we have to be on different levels so we can shoot underneath each other. In the red zone, you'll hear a lot of switches. You might also hear the term called tango. Yep. So this usually means I have outside most, you have inside most, or you have middle most, you have inside most. Pretty simple here. So again, all we're going to do is we're going to wait, and now we can see pretty clear here. All right, Shepard's coming. Now this is something I don't think people appreciate. Look at how good of a job Jalen Mills does at getting into the pathway.
Yeah.
I mean, just gets right into the pathway here. There's no way you can call pass interference here because I have, as defensive back, I have every right to the ball as much as the receiver. So if I'm getting in the pathway and you want to steamroll me, that's fine, man. It's going to be a pass interference on you, not on me.
Yep, exactly. That's just positioning, awareness, instincts. He makes the play.
And defensive back, Adrian, as much as, and you know this as well as anyone, offensive line's the same deal. The only time most people know your name is when you're messing up, and this is a perfect example. No one cares about it, but we should. We should celebrate. It's an awesome play.
He gets really physical in the red zone, and that's why he excels. I mean, if the stats are right, and I could be wrong, but I think Sidney Jones is allowing more touchdowns right now than Jalen Mills. So, hasn't been perfect for Sidney either. It's not perfect for every cornerback. It's the way it works.
And you know what, Adrian? He's a glorified rookie, really, right?
Yeah. So we got one more play, right? We're going to look at. So we're going to look at a play that Eagles Twitter again got mad at Jalen Mills. So I feel like I have to do this every week. I have to prove you guys wrong. So here we go. So there was a play in, I think it was the second quarter, where Barkley broke a run to the outside. Jalen Mills took a bad angle and he quote unquote missed the tackle. And the people were blaming Jalen Mills on this play. Well, this play was actually on Malcolm Jenkins. He was responsible for the gap. He got completely blocked out of the play, and it was his responsibility. It was on him that this run actually broke for as much yardage as it did. So you're looking at Jalen Mills on this play. It's like people are complaining that he didn't take a good angle. But if he would have taken that angle and he would have given the outside away, that's not what you want either.
I saw something really funny the other day on Twitter that was like, Jalen Mills is the reason the Sixers lost last night and also the reason that the Phillies don't have Bryce Harper yet. And I was just like, I mean, yeah, that seems to be it right now, right? Look, I'm not saying Jalen Mills is perfect by any means, but I'll tell you this. I would take him over a lot of corners in the NFL. So if we're pointing the finger at Jalen Mills, okay, yeah, maybe he's struggling. But I tell you what, he's a lot better than everything else you got in the NFL.
My point is he's not trash. He's average. That's the point. That's
yeah.
the point.
Okay, like here's the deal. You're average on a Super Bowl winning defense that's maybe a top 3 defense in the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's just when you compare him to the rest of the players, it's like I guess that's what it is.
Right. Right. But let's take a peek here. Let's take a peek here, Adrian.
Got the graphic?
Got the graphic.
Nice. So this is called a tendency breaker. Tell us, Brendan, what is a tendency breaker?
Tendency breakers. Okay, guys. Typically, I will say 70% of the time, whatever way the back is offset, he is crossing face of the quarterback. It's not very easy for the back to come straight downhill because the ball is going to have to turn here, and then he'll have to come straight downhill. So at best, this ball is going to be like an A to B gap run. Very, 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 very rarely is it a C gap or a D gap run, okay? Because, again, that would mean the back would have to turn his hips and run. That said, we have an Olympic-level athlete in Saquon Barkley back here, okay? Yeah. So he can make things look really easy. In the end of the day, guys, I have never met a 300-pounder who likes to move for free or for fun. Doesn't happen, okay? I would challenge you to ask the nearest 300-pound human, say, hey, sir, do you enjoy running? I'm willing to bet they're going to say no. Why the hell does this matter, Brendan? Because this pulling guard is not pulling for fun. He's pulling because it's part of his job. Read the fat men. The fat men are going to take you to the ball more often than not. So these blue lines, let's talk about the blue lines from top to bottom, so from the field to the boundary. What we have here is we have everyone's run gap, as you kind of can see here. What's everyone's run responsibility? This is pretty basic stuff. This ball is going to hit right behind our big left guard here, which ultimately is going to be Malcolm Jenkins' gap. As you see here from Jalen Mills is the outside most threat. No one gets outside of this receiver, and then your single high safety, his job is just to clean up any type of seepage, any type of bad situation.
There it is. All right. So now we're going to look at the play, right?
Absolutely.
And here we go. And we're going to actually see what happens.
And as we see here, you're going to notice here, this receiver is going to come in motion. It's just going to window dress it, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, if the receiver's coming in motion, it's usually because he's cracking down. As you see here, pull, and where's that ball run? It's not run outside. It's run inside of Jalen Mills. That's not his job. His job is everything outside of him.
Yeah, and maybe we'll see it here on the end zone angle as well. So this is where we're going to see Malcolm Jenkins and what he should have done, but he's going to get taken out of this play.
Right here, right here, right here. That's our gap. Our gap is not, as a corner, your gap should never be inside because there's no one outside of you.
So there we go. All right, so we had to defend Jalen Mills again, the average cornerback of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, and I mean, let's just look at this, Adrian, right, real quick. You have a pulling guard, okay? You have a pulling guard coming this way. Pulling guard coming this way. You have all the offensive linemen going this way. A running back is never going to go in front of an offensive lineman's face. They're going to go behind their butt.
Yeah.
And what bothers you is Malcolm is taking all of these steps inside. He is making it harder on himself, right?
That's a good point.
Put your finger on the screen here, guys. Look how far he comes inside.
Yeah.
Now he realizes, oh shit, I got to get back
Him
outside.
going all the way inside made him easier to block.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, look, it makes a bad offensive lineman able to do your job if you take yourself out of the play.
Yeah. So there we go. That's the show for this week. Do you think that's going to help the Eagles moving forward with more press? What does that do compared to like off coverage?
Well, I think it more importantly adds a lot of wrinkles to your defense.
Yeah,
is what I think. I think it just adds another layer. It changes up the timing. It makes the offensive coordinator have to do one more thing, a quarterback do one more thing, a receiver do one more thing in terms of pre-week work. It's only can help you, and it looked really good. He did it against two pretty darn good receivers. I'm a big Sterling Shepard fan. I like him in the slot a lot. But, of course, everything looks good when you have Eli Manning throwing you the football.
Yeah, I sent you a bunch of plays, and you're just like, yeah, I can't really look at this one. This is a bad throw. I can't really look at this one. This is overthrown. Eli made a face. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, like, there's so many things like when we were looking at it, and I was like, I mean, honestly, Adrian, this is just a shitty throw. This is just Eli. This is 2018 Eli.
I wanted press examples, and you're –
I was like –
it's just like overthrow. Nope, not going to work. That's how bad Eli Manning was in this game.
It is. I saw a somewhere on Twitter that said the Raiders are on fire sale, right? And one of the rumors was they were trying to move Derek Carr for a first to the Giants.
Why would the Giants do that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Derek Carr, I am off the Derek Carr train, unfortunately now.
Yeah, unfortunately I am too, because I was riding that train. I loved it. I love Derek Carr, but yeah, it's hard to imagine he goes for a 1.
And to think that like they want to trade Amari Cooper. If there's ever a time to trade for Amari Cooper, it's right now because his production is so down due to the quarterback play.
Yeah,
can't get him the ball.
No, you're right. I mean, look. It would be great. Hey, if the Eagles wanted to trade a 3 for Amari Cooper, maybe even a 2 for Amari Cooper, cool. That would be sweet. Yeah. It's nice to kind of add more weapons, but I still think that the player the Eagles should go after is Tyrann Mathieu. That's still what I think the biggest need is.
So you want Tyrann Mathieu. I think it's Le'Veon Bell. I want Le'Veon Bell. I'm on the Le'Veon Bell train.
I hear you. I just have a hard time knowing if you make that trade, the financial investment that comes with it.
Yeah, I've looked into that. So that was my worry at first. And then you kind of look at it, and I'm like, all right, if they can get out of that contract before they pay Carson, kind of front load it, give him a lot of guaranteed money, I think that's the way they would go about it. And you're also having a lot of guys come off the books this summer, Peters and all those contracts. And you got a bunch of picks now that you can fill out the roster with since your picks are back from Carson Wentz. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it. I think he's still 26 if I'm correct. So you got like 4 years maybe out of him. And I think he's just such a perfect fit for what the offense is. So it's not just a running back. You got a wide receiver too.
Yeah, I don't disagree with anything you just said there. I think everything you said is 100% right. I just know that he's unhappy about a contract negotiation. It's like I have a hard time trading someone who's not happy and is kind of a pain in the ass to a team who's a Super Bowl champion and a Super Bowl contender again. I don't think you mess with it. That's why I would rather just load up the defense and get a whole bunch of random guys at running back. Okay. All right. That's our show for this week. We have differing opinions. It's okay. It helps. Yes, it does. That's Brennan Albert. I am Adrian Fecue. We're out. See you. Appreciate it, guys.